you made it to day 5 of our Rediscover Your Worth Bible study. I'm Kayla Barlow. This is Jacqueline Owens.
Woo!
Yay!
So happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be so fun. So yesterday we talked about Martha. Today we're talking about Mary, the same story, but we're going to talk through Mary. Have you ever felt guilty for resting or spending time with God when there's so much to do? Sometimes it feels like productivity is more important than worship. But today we're going to see how sitting at the feet of Jesus is the most valuable thing you can do. I can easily find more things to do than actually sitting still and prioritizing my time with the Lord and being intentional about it.
Yeah, I think even I'm similar to a lot of the other ladies where, you know, we try to make a plan. And so before I ever wake up, my day is already full because of the things I planned for the night before. So you're right. If I, it's really easy for me to always, oh yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Oh shoot, I forgot to wash that too. It's so easy to just keep adding things in there.
Yeah. And I think it's so easy to also bump my prioritized time with the Lord that I have. I'm like, oh, I can do that later. Or, oh, there's something else. Really needs to be done. I need to wash this load, or I need to do this. And it's so easy. That's the first thing that gets bumped in my day.
Yeah.
And that's probably not the best thing I could do with my life.
It happens to me too.
So how does guilt or pressure to get things done affect your spiritual life?
I like to check the boxes. Like, oh yeah, I did that. Boom, check it off. Oh, I did that too. Boom, check it off. If there's something that feels good, like I did my accomplishments and I got that done. And so I think I start feeling guilty if I have too many unchecked things, because that means that I didn't
do enough today.
I didn't do enough, or I didn't plan accordingly, or who did I let down by not checking that box?
Yeah.
And so then that's where my guilt sets in. And oddly enough, sometimes letting people down feels worse to me than realizing that I'm letting my relationship go, by my choices too. Yeah. And then it's hard not to feel guilty about that as well.
Yeah. I am very much a yes person. I will do everything.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, I will figure it out.
Yeah.
I will do
make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. What holds you back from slowing down and spending time in worship?
I think it's adding that other thing in. It's hard whenever, how in the world does that hour in the morning go so fast? Like the 6 to 7, 7 to 8, it flies by, but that 3 to 4 in the afternoon goes so slow. So I think it's hard to slow down in those moments because we're just
trying to fit so many things
in
that 1 hour.
And if it's like one thing throws it off, if the kid has a cold, or oh gosh, one forgot their lunch, so I got to run and do that, or just any little kink, it's it's definitely hard to slow down, to put yourself in that mind space first thing in the morning of, nope, I'm going to pause, I'm going to go slow.
So I think yesterday we talked a lot about Martha. I am definitely in my Martha era right now. I have to be intentional to be a Mary. So let's look at Mary. So in Luke 10:39, it says, "And she had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching." She sat, and you said earlier a little bit about her posture. Like she was in the right posture to take in everything that the Lord had for her in that moment. Like, Lord, let me be a Mary and not a Martha every day of the season. So what does Mary's choice to sit at Jesus' feet show about her priorities?
Well, definitely I would say she took the posture of humility to sit at his feet, and also honor. The importance of that moment wasn't just, I'm a dinner person. I've had you over for dinner.
Oh, yes.
And I love
lovely.
everything about dinner. I love preparing it. I love the way it looks on a plate. Pretty food tastes better. That's always what I say.
Yeah.
And in that moment, that would have been her normal task for any other normal guest.
Yeah.
She would have been right there with Martha. But I think recognizing that Jesus was there.
The King is here.
Yeah, he's
ready to
here.
pour into me. And I think taking everyday life and knowing Jesus is ready to pour into you. Are you ready to receive that? Are you ready to receive what he has for you, and prioritizing that time And I keep thinking of like being intentional. Like you have to be intentional with your priorities to ensure that like the Lord will pour into you, will feed into you, and not to always be that Martha. Like there is a season where we have to hustle.
Yeah.
But there's also a time where Jesus is saying, slow down, let me pour into you. Let me show you your next thing that you are going to be doing and busy. How does this story redefine what's truly productive or valuable? When I think of like truly productive, like probably Martha thought she was being productive in serving, but she was missing the valuable piece of like the king is here ready to pour into me. And I think that kind of redefines like being productive is one thing, but when you miss the whole reason why he's in your home, why he's pouring into you, like you miss that being that valuable piece that will change your life forever.
It does. And also, you know, when we're talking about serving, and we're a church that definitely wants our people to be in a servant heart. Yeah. But you can't do that unless you're in that posture of worship. Why are we doing those things? And so you have to take that time to sit and let Jesus speak into you. If we're not ready to receive that, we can't truly be productive in our service either, because we can only speak what has been poured into us. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what you said, the valuable part of it.
Yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup. And I think you have to be poured into, and Jesus is ready to pour into you. You just have to stop, be a Mary, sit at his feet for a moment, let him pour into you so you can pour into others. So how does spending time with Jesus transform how we approach the rest of life?
It's in those moments too that he's speaking into you who he says you are. And if we're not taking that time to listen to him as he's speaking to us, who does he say that I am? Well, he says I'm worthy. He says I'm chosen. I'm his daughter. And I miss that if I'm not taking the time to sit and listen to him and let him dance over me and smile at me and tell me all of those things. I get too busy doing all of the other stuff that who doesn't love being told that they're beautiful and that they're chosen, and you know, it transforms what we see also about ourselves when we look in the mirror. What do we see? And it gives me the ability then to take that out and see others, you know, and the light that God has shown on me, who he says I am, and that's who he says you are. And so I get to see that in you and reflect that back to you. We talk about encouraging one another, and it's a lot easier to do that when you're coming from a place of feeling worthy yourself.
Yeah, and I think too, like you have to be in him to feel worthy. Like you have to spend time with him, because that's where we get our worth. Like our worth is not in anything. We've kind of talked through this week, like not in anything that we can do. We can't do enough to earn our worth. It is that treasure that he has called us to be. We are chosen. And that's truly when we find our worth, is when we are in him. So when we take anything away today, but when you sit at his feet, that is where you find your worth. You will stand in your worth when you sit at his feet.
Yes.
So a few takeaways today. So take time to reflect. Schedule a specific time today to sit at the feet of Jesus through prayer, reading scriptures, turn on your worship jams. Take the time to reflect and actually sit at the feet of Jesus. And sometimes that is turning off your cell phone. It is really like taking time. So meditate, repeat this truth. My value is in my worship, not in my work. It is not in anything that I can do. It is literally worshiping the Lord. So I challenge you to replace one to-do task with time spent with God this week, trusting him to handle the rest, because you know he will. Because girl, you are so worthy. Join us for day 6 tomorrow.